All right, everybody. Sound check. I hope everybody's able to hear me. It's basically going to be an open topic night. I have not been feeling that well today. I slept most of the day, so any preparation that I had planned, I didn't do. Uh, but let me do something here. Okay. This is the new Murtathon uniform, at least one in the series. One of the subscribers was kind enough to buy me this shirt. And this is from Bubba. And he was advertising in my various streams for a while. And he makes these shirts, draws the cartoons, and then there's an online store he sells them through. And he's quite talented. The shirt is very high quality. It's kind of a fun little thing. And the guy is a veteran, so if you want to support a veteran and get some funny shirts in the process, you might give him a try. I don't have the link to his store or what have you right now, but you could probably find it in some of my older comments. But it's funny. I kind of got a kick out of it. And when I go to cover things live, I'll have this shirt, maybe some similar shirts, depending on who I'm covering. So we'll just go from there. Now, before I came on the air, I was looking at a rather curious video that Tim Holmes made. Apparently, Tim Holmes is alive and well, and he's sightseeing. And he's out in Oregon. Basically, I guess, from what people have told me, he's out to see David Strait, who seems to be the mastermind for all this nonsense that's going on, or at least a big contributor. Linda, thanks for the prayer. So far, things are going good. My lighting is creating a problem with my camera. When I move in the wrong position, it kind of washes things out. I'm going to have to change the lighting here in the future. And I have not got around to putting up any additional links or anything for contributions. I'm not really in any big hurry to do it because it's not the key motivator to what I'm doing. But eventually I'm going to get it set up here in the next week or two. I would have done it today, but I just have not been feeling good. I got a flu or something, and it's just been driving me crazy. I slept through the bulk of the day. I had my function that I go to on Saturdays, and when I was done with that, I came home and went straight to bed. So I slept until about 7:30, had a quick dinner, and now here I am. Uh, well, I'll tell you, as far as I'm reading comments about um, this companion of Cindy Abzug that took time off from med school. It is a college. I don't know what the rules are with a college about people just skimming out for several months at a time. But I guess it's a risk that the guy took. Hi, Chad. Welcome to the chat. But then again, you get people made their own decisions for whatever reason. Now, I had a comment come up that said I'm biased and that I hate Cindy Abchug and so on and so forth. And A, I'm probably a little bit biased, but B, I don't have any ill feelings towards Cindy. The problem is that Cindy got sucked into something. She made a lot of bad choices, and if she had an argument that she may have been able to win, uh, if anything, at the very least, she's damaged those chances. Now, can a good lawyer get her out of the mess she's in? Perhaps. But that's going to be wait to be seen. What I do here on the Murtathon and on my daily videos is just offer my opinion and insight as to what I feel is going on. I'm not an expert. I'm not a lawyer. I'm just an old buzzard that runs a chat, live stream / chat combination. So if you're looking for expert advice or unbiased opinion, you picked the wrong place because I'm certainly biased. and I'm no expert. So I just wanted to make that comment to the people that have been criticizing me over that. Now, they're perfectly correct. I am biased, and there's a lot of room for improvement on the way I do things on this show. And I am going to try to improve and try and do the best job I can, but it's going to take a lot of time because of my schedule. I would like to be able to do this full time, 7 days a week, but there's reasons I can't do that right now. And part of it has to do with funding. I simply cannot afford to do it because there's a lot involved in putting one of these things on the air. My goal is to do this full time, but that's going to depend on circumstances going down the road. But I'm going to try to at least do the Murtathons more often in the coming weeks. I'm going to go back to trying to do it 2 days a week and possibly 3 days a week, and also have room on my calendar where if I'm able to, I can travel to these various locations. I am definitely going to get down to Fort Lauderdale somehow at some stage in the field matter to cover that. Now, as for Mr. Field McConnell, I believe we are on day 90 of his incarceration in Pierce County. That means he served 3 months in jail. What's odd about this, if he had gotten a competent lawyer, worked out a plea agreement or something with the authorities, said that he's going to behave himself and not say anything about Kim Picasio, he'd be out by now. Yeah, thank you, Sabrina, for your comment. Appreciate that. I try to do my best here. I'm not perfect. I'm certainly not a professional, so, you got to take that into account. I'm just basically just sitting here BSing for a few hours on a YouTube channel, and I don't profess that there's going to be any effect from what I say or do here, and it's going to be basically everybody chatting among each other, perhaps asking me a question or commenting, and that's it. There's like 100,000 channels on YouTube right now doing the same thing. So you just take your pick and you go with what you want to do. Now, what I find interesting is that Field McConnell is rotting away in jail, and Tim Holmes is sightseeing, going out and taking pictures in the middle of the desert of sneakers in a tree. And of course he had to make something out of it. He says, this is some kind of a ritual of stuff. And he mentioned that there were caves or something in the background. He might have mentioned the fact that there's also rattlesnakes. Oh, hi Amber. Our mascot is joining me again a little earlier in the show. Okay, everybody. Hey, Amber. Come on, camera. Focus. I don't understand the focus on this camera. But this is a blurred picture of Amber. Yeah. You just like your... Oh, God. That's a mushy dog. You're a mushy dog. Yeah, Amber hit a jailbreak. All right. Let's see Mommy.
Oh. Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Amber. All right, see you later. Oh, my God. So we had our Amber night. That dog, I'll tell you, if you ever get that dog in your lap, she will not sit still. She wants to lick the daylights out of you. And I've got Skippy off screen down here on the floor. He's just looking around like, doing a dog thing on the hallway here. I have to drink Pepsi to keep my throat from drying out. Plus, I like my Pepsi anyway, so I hope I'm not bothering anybody with that. Okay, some of these comments are interesting, but... No, Trump is not going to pardon Field McConnell. Field McConnell will be coming to Florida, probably in the next 7 days. Anybody that believes that Phil McConnell is going to get out of this mess is delusional. You know, common sense would dictate that if Phil McConnell had any relationship with Donald J. Trump, he wouldn't have served 1 minute in jail, let alone 30 days. You know, if Donald Trump is going to let Phil McConnell out of jail, he should have done it 3.5 months ago. He should have expunged all this paperwork that was put up against Phil McConnell, like Phil McConnell said was going to happen. Phil McConnell said a lot of things that haven't come true. These people just don't want to admit it. You know, I think it's funny. Oh, okay, well. You sometimes have to wonder, firemen, because people come in here and say these ridiculous things about Phil, and they're not jokes. And no mass arrests, no martial law, none of that. You know, it's funny. You hear so much of this nonsense, it's kind of hard to tell what's a joke and what's not a joke. You know, I saw this thing with the shoes in the trees, and I didn't know what to make of it. And what's funny is he put that article up once. He took it down. He put it back up again, and now he came out with a 6.5-minute video of shoes and trees and an old bucket laying on the ground and, you know, clothing and stuff. I mean, I guess the guy's never heard of a roadside dump. You know, I've been around 69 years, and I've seen all kinds of weird crap on the side of the road, and I've seen shoes and power lines, and I may have, since I've traveled that highway in my years as a truck driver, I may have seen that exact tree. Because it's a landmark. Everybody in the country knows about that stupid tree, so when I saw it, I just said, oh, this guy's in Oregon. Because of that tree. It's a specific type of tree that grows in that part of the country. And people, for whatever reason, throw shoes on it. And there's a number of them, but this one's best known because of its proximity to the Bates Hotel. And I see that they took a picture of that. You know, that's basically somebody just went out and put up a sign for the Bates Hotel. And so there's that. So, you know, Timmy's just up to his old crap again. And there is a bit of breaking news. There's a troll. Her name is Teslana, who had been demanding questions about Tim Holmes and creating all kinds of anger because of his association with Randy Erickson. And tonight she basically told me she's going dark. And she's pissed off at me because she thinks I'm going to use Tim Holmes as entertainment. And I might as well use him for entertainment because that's all he's worth is entertainment. He's not worth crap. Levi, yes, Timothy is in Bend, Oregon, and he's in the company of David Strait. And it's said that Randy took him out there, and there's a female voice that shows up in the picture, so that's probably her. And I was told that by a mutual friend of ours, Levi, so that's probably where he is. It would make sense. There's no other reason to be out there. What is funny about this and the joke of all this is here Timothy Holmes is running around in the country taking pictures on a smartphone, and Phil McConnell is rotting in jail making jailhouse calls on a smartphone. Which brings me up to something. Let me get my computer, my web page up here, because I got some reference material up here. Because one of the things I was going to bring up was Phil McConnell's Florida vacation. And how much fun Phil McConnell is going to have in I can't read that on the air. Sorry, Alex. If you hear me coughing every once in a while, I'm going to try to do the kill switch on the mic if I do it, because I've got a really sore throat. And I'm going to hit the kill switch now. I've had this. I've been coughing and gagging for the past 4 days. I picked this thing up probably at the airports, one of the airports, and it's just been driving me nuts. Let's see. Let me find. I know somebody commented they didn't like me playing on the computer and trying to get lined up, but this is the necessity of a live show. Okay, let me get up to where I wanted to. All right. Now, he is going to be going to the Broward County Jail. The Broward County Jail is a jail of about 3,500 people. And they have a floor plan that basically are pods. Baking soda with water. Ooh. I'll give it a shot. Baking soda is harmless, I guess, as long as you don't swallow it. Anyway, getting back to the subject, the pods in Broward County are generally hexagon or sexagon, which means 6 or 8 sides, and there are multiple stories. There's a big mezzanine area where the inmates hang out. There is a phone, but it's a community phone, and you have to take turns using it. Now, I don't know if the inmates in that jail are going to tolerate Phil McConnell being on a phone half an hour at a time. Florida law says you cannot have a personal cell phone in your jail cell. You cannot have a cell phone in your possession in a jail cell. If someone brings you a cell phone and they are caught, they can be criminally charged, and you will be punished accordingly. You may be put in solitary, you may have privileges revoked, like commissary access, things like that. So it's not a wise idea to smuggle a cell phone into your jail cell. Another thing that Phil McConnell's going to discover is that he's going to have a roomie. Broward County Jail, because of the size of the prison, this is a prison that has over 3,500 inmates in it at a time. So it's 2 men to a cell. You're correct, Alex. He's not allowed to talk in code on the phone. But you'll have 2 people per cell. So Phil McConnell's going to have a roomie. He's not going to be able to choose who the roomie is. Could be a white guy, could be a black guy, could be a Puerto Rican, could be a Haitian, could be anybody. So he's got that to look forward to. When you go to a court appearance, go to a hearing, go on trial, you're not coming back to the same cell. Your cell changes constantly, because what happens when you go to your whatever it is you go to, somebody else gets put in your cell. So when you come back, doesn't matter if it's 2 hours or 2 days or whatever, you're assigned a different cell. And you get a different roommate. Which means that if you go someplace, you got to take all your personal possessions with you. If you have pictures, Bible, all that stuff, you got to have a little bag or something. Yeah, take all that stuff with you. Now, whether they have like a locker in the jail where if you're going to court and you take your stuff and you put it in the locker and then when you come back and get it, I don't know. I haven't gone that far in the research on this. Another thing that Bill McGowan gets to look forward to is he is literally going to be sleeping under a potato sack. Blankets at Broward County, for whatever strange reason, made out of burlap. The same kind of burlap they make potato sacks out of, and coffee bags. And believe me, I can tell you from personal experience, these things are very uncomfortable. When I'm in truck driving, I handle burlap bags. I've delivered coffee in bags and stuff like that. Peanuts come in burlap bags. I've hauled peanuts, and in these bags to handle them are miserable. I can't imagine what it's like to sleep under it. Sorry about that. I'm going to be constantly hitting that button. Try it so you're not constantly hearing my coughing. Another thing that people is going to find out is the prison is extremely noisy. These guys do not shut up. They constantly yell. They talk loud because they communicate with each other by yelling. They don't pass notes or anything like that. They yell at each other. And sometimes you get some guys in there that are a little loose in the caboose, so they're sitting there and they'll just start making all kinds of noise. And then you have, if the guards are talking at a duty station or something, the building is like one big echo chamber because it's all cinder block and concrete walls, so sound is going to carry. So it's not quiet. The lights in the prison are on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There's no such thing as lights out, except within the cell itself. But the thing of it is the light spills over from the hallway through this rectangular window to the door of the cell, so you're going to get light anyway. There's no privacy in the cell. If you take a poop or you take a leak, everybody's going to be able to see you. Because you can't have... The guards have got to be able to see you at all times to make sure you're not planning something weird. So he's got that to look forward to. So that's basically it. I mean, he's going to be in for a completely different lifestyle than he was in Wisconsin. Much, much larger prison. He's going to be in medium security because of the violent threats that he made. You know, that's the reason he got hit with felony cyber stalking, is because he made threats to the safety and life of Kim Picasio. So, he got hit pretty hard. And loosen the caboose from use. Yeah, vast majority of the inmates that are in the Broward County Jail are there for drug-related crimes. They're either distributors, they're users, they've committed crimes in order to get the drugs that they use, and they go through all kinds of requirements, constant drug tests, rehab requirements, all kinds of things. You have absolutely no privacy in prison. And there is no privacy of anything in prison. Florida has one of the most liberal public records laws of any state in the United States. That means that if somebody makes a contribution to his commissary fund, the public's going to know it. They're going to know the amount that was given to Phil McConnell. They're going to know who gave it. They're going to know the name and address of the person that gave it, because this is all public information. When I covered the Casey Anthony trial, we knew everything about her. We knew the kind of feminine products used. We know people sending her love letters. We knew everybody that had contributed to her commissary fund, because this is all public. I've got a box full of this stuff because this is what people wanted. And, you know, it showed a grocery list of everything she ordered. She showed what she ate for dinner, because they give you a menu, and in Orange County anyway, I don't know what they do in Broward, but you're given a menu and you get to choose what you want to eat from the menu. And yeah, you're correct, Linda. He's going to have to fight for the phone, because this pod, you're looking at probably a minimum of 50 inmates in that pod, and every one of them is going to want to use that damn phone. And setting up the account for the phone is somewhat of a complicated process. As I get closer to the coverage, I'll get into the specifics, but it's a standard. There's a company that handles the calls. You have to open up an account, and you have to do all kinds of stuff to get it set up. And so there's that to look forward to. But, you know, this is a 70-year-old white guy going down there, and people are going to hear through the grapevine about him tormenting a woman, which is not going to go over well. So, you know, and he's the weak link in the chain. The one thing you find out in prison, it's like a wolf pack type thing. You know, there's the alpha dog and all the minions, and he's not going to be an alpha dog. He's going to be people that are in charge that are going to say, dude, I'm the man, you got to come to for anything, or this, that, and the other thing. Sabrina, will he cry? That's a good question. You know, I don't know how the guy's going to be treated down there. But I do know that about the vast majority of people in that prison are going to be younger than he is by at least half his age. This is a totally different environment he's going into. And they don't screen pretrial inmates by age. They screen you by the level of security threat. And he's been deemed a medium security threat. That's a level 2 threat. Because you got level 1, which is minimum. You got level 2, which is medium. And then you got level 3, which is high security. And it's usually for murderers and stuff like that. But, tell you an interesting story. This is the same prison that Parkland shooter Nicholas Cruz was in. And he was in a pod all by himself. And one day he went nuts. For whatever reason, he just went completely crazy and he attacked the guard that was watching him. There's usually a guard sitting behind a desk. And he was pacing around, and then all of a sudden he just went at the guard. They had a big fight, and he was finally subdued. But the problem is, you got Nicholas Cruz there, and you're going to have people like him. And this is the kind of people that Phil McConnell's going to be interacting with. Some very violent people. Carjackers, gang people that have gotten into fights, robbers, people that have used guns in the commission of a felony. He's got all sorts of people he's going to, have company with. So, and if he starts this conspiracy stuff, I thought this woman went dark. I'm going to have some fun. Now she's mad that I'm associating with Alex. I have lost my patience with this woman. Yeah, this little troll can't seem to make up her mind. She told me she was going dark and she was going to talk to me again, and now she came right back and she started in being mad because I talked to Alex. I thought that was kind of weird. She just started it up, Alex. She told me she was going to go dark, and then all of a sudden, here she is again. Yeah, we've been down this road with this troll before, so. Yeah, so we're going to have, she just can't make up her mind. But I tried to reach out to her, tried to say, look, you're in the best position to try and get Tim some help and get her out of the situation, and for whatever reason, she either can or won't. So, I've given up on her. She's not going to be of any help to Tim at all. He's just going to have to slide down to his doom all on his own. Well, if she did, she's a damn fool, and now she's probably, she'll never admit she's wrong. Well, I'm going to send you something. I don't know if I've got the... Oh, no, it's on the other computer. Never mind. I'll have to... I sent it to our... I thought I sent that to you. Let me see. Sent it to somebody. Yeah, I sent it to you. That's the last message before this last tirade. So she's not a happy camper. Oh, she's back. Now she's getting into... accusing Alex of being a racist. So that sounds like she's a racist. I love how this woman says that she's going to go away and she keeps coming right back, but, what can I say? These are the kind of people that get attracted to Timothy Holmes. Regan, this is a woman. Right now she's going as Teslana, Teslanna on Twitter. She claims not to be a woman that we all know she is out of Virginia that has been loyal to Tim Holmes from way back in the days of Haley Cummings. And now I like grits. Anyway, she comes in every once in a while, raises a fit, and then goes away, and she's about to post another message. But, this strange woman, I've never understood her. And I haven't heard from this woman in a long time, and then all of a sudden she popped up. And this is right about the time Timothy disappeared. And she's come back under a different name, of course. Instead of being the one we suspect her of, she's come back as this Teslana woman. Yeah, I probably should, but she's entertaining because she says one thing and does another. She says, "Oh, I'm going to go dark. I'm going to block you so you can't talk to me anymore." And then she comes right back. And I'm waiting for this next post to come up because I'm getting the 3 little dots on Twitter, so she's writing something. But it's sad because she's probably the one person that could probably help Tim if she get off this weirdness she's on and actually do something constructive, but she won't. She was posting all these little messages like, 17 days of silence, what have you done to Tim and all this. And, that's, bitching out on Twitter on an account that nobody's going to read isn't going to solve the problem that Tim Holmes said. And she knows it. She just doesn't want to admit it. So, it is what it is. But she must be on a damn cell phone because it's taking her forever to write the message. You never know. Alex, you do remember that at one time she tried to break up a marriage between a woman out on the west coast of Florida, and she went on to get romantically involved with a woman. So, this woman's supposed to be married. So, Field called police on Denise while Agent Marcy was running naked. Really? That's weird. First time I heard that one. But I don't know. This is really a long message she's posting, or she's a real bad typist because it's taken forever for her to write that thing. And then she changes her mind and just takes it right off. Took her that long to write that? Jeez. Woman is weird. Huh. Well, Field does have some interesting companions, I guess you could say. No, I don't have any meatloaf recipes, so I probably would. Dumb ass is asking me questions I have no answers to. I don't know what's going on. Hi, Mish. Welcome to the chat. Well, patriotic, if I fall asleep, sweet dreams. I had a long week myself. And it's unusual for me to sleep most of the day on a Saturday, because Saturday's the only day of the week that I got to get anything caught up. But man, I was beat today. I've had this flu or whatever it is all week, and it's just been driving me crazy. And I'm not in a position where I can just stay in bed for however long it takes me to get rid of this thing. I got a lot of stuff going on. I have an extremely busy schedule, and so it's taking me. I don't know how long it's going to be before I can get all the stuff out of the way that I need to get out of the way, so that I can relax and enjoy my retirement, what there is of it. Because then I'll be in a position to where I can do a lot more. Strange. No, apparently someone got beat up. I don't know what the hell that was all about. But okay, everybody say hi to my orb. Hi, orb. It's funny. It's not showing up here. I don't see no orb. It's probably caused by the lighting, is all I can figure. But nice to know I got an orb. Did Field really have an affair with her? I don't know. What's funny, Martha, I did get a flu shot once, and I got sick, and I almost had to go to the hospital. It was that bad. And I said, I am not doing that. I'll suffer through the flu before I do that again. It was bad. Damn, I should have shaved. I look ridiculous. Sorry about that, guys. I meant to shave today, but I didn't. I'm going to trim this mess up a little bit. Yeah, it's been cold down here. We just went through a cold snap. This is the coldest time of the year in Florida. The reflection is caused by the light that I have. It's directly above me, and it's one of these 4-foot long shop lights. And it's just over. It's just too much lighting. This is not set up the proper way that you set something like this up. I've got future plans for straightening all this out. War Wagon, hello. Yeah, I'm doing fine, just a little bit sick, but other than that, I'm doing all right. Well, there's a guy that used to know Kim Picazio, and she said the guy got beat up and then he'll never come back to Florida, and I don't know what that's about, but she put a picture of him, and he looks like he got into a bar fight or something. He's all messed up. Which I don't know why that even matters. Going through a couple emails here. And never fails when I start up, all of a sudden emails start flying in. But that's okay, because I got... Nice thing about having a 49-inch monitor is I got everything all spread out. That's why I got this thing. Instead of having a regular computer monitor with limited capabilities, I put up this big monitor and I can do all kinds of stuff with it. Yeah, it got down to the lowest we've ever had down here is 27 degrees Fahrenheit. And that was the year the shuttle Challenger exploded because it was too cold for the seals on the solids. And usually the end of January and through part of February is the coldest time of the year here. It'll get down into the 30s and high 20s, and then it gradually warms back up again. Well, this is the first I've heard about a metal detector, and I don't know why they would even need one. As far as I know, Kim is doing fine. She's enjoying life for once, not having to worry about some moron threatening her constantly on the internet. I think once the process completes the way I expect it to complete, that people are going to know better than to try that stunt. That's one thing, is that Field is going to be setting an example of what not to do. It's strange because me and Kim had some real dogfights over the years. And I didn't get put in jail, and I didn't have restraining orders on me. And, we had some real bad fights. But we respected each other even if we disagreed with each other. And that's the key. You don't go around threatening people. And that's what Field did. He didn't get put in jail for criticizing the woman. He got put in jail for making violent threats. It's a big difference. If I were to come out tomorrow and say the violent things about someone like Field McConnell has done to her, I would be in jail. It's against the law. It's as simple as that. And he is legally incarcerated. He's getting, due process, the whole 9 yards. So he's got nothing to cry about. Boy, for someone that's going dark, she's still hanging in there. Yeah, well. Gives her something to vent about. Yeah. No biggie. I think he realizes the D clause didn't do him any good. Now, somebody in my comments suggested that he's getting legal representation from a qualified lawyer. And the thing of it is, if that happens, it will come up in the court records. There is still, to the best of my knowledge, a bar-certified attorney not assigned to him. He has no lawyer that's on record. Now, if he's got some retired judge out in Oregon submitting stuff to him to bring to the court, that's not something that I am aware of, because there's no specific verifiable information to determine that. So yeah, Bill McConnell is in the situation he's in right now because of Tim Holmes. Because he listened to Tim Holmes, he read the book, and for whatever reason, he went down this path. If he had not met Tim Holmes, if he had not listened to Tim Holmes, he would be out there selling Zim currencies. Oh, thank you, Linda. I appreciate that. Looks can be deceiving, and got a little bit of chin fat, stuff like that happens to people my age. I'll have that thing that goes kind of like Mitch McConnell has. But, thanks for the compliment. I appreciate it. Kind of helps the ego. Well, Agent Marcy didn't do him any favors if that's how he got hooked up with Tim, because Tim is basically, he's out there sightseeing in the Northwest and Field is rotting in jail. the field supporters don't seem to care about that. I don't see anybody of any great numbers realizing that Tim Holmes is responsible for their hero being in jail. It's going to dawn on them eventually, especially if a verdict comes down where Field McConnell is assigned several years in prison. Then maybe it'll dawn on them that Timothy Holmseth did Field McConnell no favors. Yeah, it's amazing how much money went around and all this, and people just got horrific amounts of money to toss around. Yeah, it's like an investment in a bank where they know they're going to make a big return on their investment, which they probably have, considering the fact you got a guy that's got 40 some thousand people, and with his jailhouse calls, Field is oh, that's a new one. I got distracted here. I just think that with the 44,000 subscribers they have and the money that's probably coming in on them, the 5,000 plus is just an investment into a growing enterprise. Desert Witch. Oh, now instead of Blizzard Witch, it's Desert Switch. Made a little bit of a racist comment there, so I'm not going to reread that. But that's kind of an interesting accusation. Alright, I'll be back in a minute. I gotta take care of something. It's gonna be a minute or two. Don't go away. Okay, I thought the troll had changed names, but no, she's talking about a different witch. There's this witch is Alex, of course. I should have known because she gave that name to Alex a long time ago. Alright, let me switch back over. I'm telling you, I'm not feeling at the top of my game. She seems more concerned about trashing people than she does, excuse me, about anything else. Boy, this thing has a severe latency issue. Amazing. There are Florida prisons throughout the state. There are some near Eglin. They're all over the state because they're in districts. The main prison that does all the execution is up. It's in the center of the what we call the Panhandle, along Interstate 10. I'd have to look, see exactly where it is. So we have state prisons all over. Now, if Field is sent to a state prison, he'll either go to the one down in Homestead, or he might even come up here towards Orlando. We have a number of them up here, including one up in Coleman, which is near where Brett and Deckett used to live. Yeah, you know, I go through this every year. Melanie, I doubt that Phil will ever come clean. It's not in his nature. That type of people just uh, judge cancel discovery and jury trial on what case? I am not following this conversation. Yeah, Ashley is quite something. She is really reading everybody the riot act. I've actually talked to her a little bit, and yeah, she's going great guns against all of them. Uh, Shark, I agree that Phil McConnell never should have hooked up with Tim Holmes. It was a looming disaster. Everybody that's gotten mixed up with Tim has gone on to regret it, and it's sad, really. But people just don't learn, and So it's the way it goes. You hook yourself to a fool, you become a fool. Gee, I don't know if I could retweet that. Wow. Sun Sentinel, how's he doing down there? Koran, I don't know what they're doing in Oregon. Unless I guess they're just having a policy meeting or something, making sure that the boss tells them what to do. I think that's the farthest Timothy's ever traveled. But they're probably trying to figure out the best way to make use of Tim. Skippy, what are you doing? I'll tell you, I got it. Yeah, but it's... Well, the thing you can laugh about is here's Timothy Holmes running around the country and somebody's dying, and Phil McConnell's sitting in prison. The only thing Phil McConnell gets to do is make all his little jailhouse calls. It just has not dawned on him how badly screwed he is. He is. Well, I'll tell you. She asked why gang stalkers were on Merck's channel. Well, because, depending on who she's talking about, we're not gang stalkers. We're people that have been victimized by Tim Holmes and Phil McConnell in one way or another. Tim Holmes has been on my case for 10 years. And both of these people are going around accusing innocent people of things that they didn't do. I guess defending yourself and defending your reputation is gang stalking. Oh well. And then Phil McConnell plays the poor old man charge. He says, "Oh, I'm an old man, and they're exploiting me," or whatever you want to call it. I'm a year younger than he is. We have birthdays a week apart. I'm an old man. So, it's just a... Patricia Rydell, read her comments. Is that, that's in the comment sections of YouTube? Oh, I wouldn't be surprised, Kingfish, if the Able Danger is a complete fraud. I think this is a lifetime with all these people that these frauds have been going on. There's good money in it. It's like these Zim currencies that are out there. It's a racket, and these people just cheat for dollars and pounds and everything else. And there are no boundaries. So I agree with you on that, Alex. It's just absolutely no boundaries at all. Then there's stories about people that have committed suicide and stuff because of the actions of these people, and they just don't seem to care. I'm researching something right now that I'll be commenting on later on this week about someone that committed suicide because of promises. Boy, for somebody that's going dark, this troll can't keep her mouth shut. Love it. Did you hear about the blind dandy scam? No, I would say that this is a new one. I have not heard about the blind dandy scam. Well, here's the thing about appeal. Let's say Phil McConnell gets prosecuted in Florida, goes to prison. Now, the timeline here is he will be in jail at least until June before he even goes on trial. So we're into June. Gets prosecuted, goes to jail, files for appeal. 2 or 3 months. He won't even see the appellate court until sometime in the fall, probably September, October. So he will have been in jail almost a year. And when you file appeal, you got to have grounds for it, because the appellate court can turn you down. They can say, okay, not enough here. We're not going to grant your appeal. We're not going to hear it, and it just goes away. I have a feeling I know what that means. See if I can. Well, this error goes. Okay, message sent. Yeah, I know you are. Oh, okay. Yeah, it figures. Another scam. You know, this happens all the time. You know, you get the people that do the "I have cancer" scans, or "my daughter has cancer," and then they're found out to be frauds. Happens all the time. It's just, yeah, you're correct in part, Chad. The appellate court, when you go to the appellate court, you have to give them grounds for why there's a valid reason for the appeal. Either evidence didn't come in that should have been in the first trial, misconduct on the part of one of the attorneys. There's any number of things, but it's not that easy. And the only time there's an automatic appeal is in a capital crime like murder. Then it's automatic. You get it anyway. But in something like what Phil McConnell's going through, it's not automatic. You have to demonstrate that there's a valid reason for the appeal. And these things take time. So it's not going to get him out of prison anytime soon. Yeah, Daniel, that injunction really seals the deal, and that will be in the field trial in Broward. And the jury will get to see it. They get to hear the actual audio recordings that were made, all kinds of stuff. So, you know, because it's basically, they're going to say, this is what this man supports. So, you know, Field is going to have a rough time. You know, and this is not a conservative docket. And if you get any number of women on the jury and they hear this, okay, I just had something fly past me, probably dust or something. Maybe it's my orb. Well, Biz doesn't have the best reputation in the world. If we're talking about the same one. Rapunzel, it's hard to say why people defend someone like Field. It's hard to comprehend, but you're always going to find people there that will defend someone like him no matter what. I mean, it's the same thing with Holmeseth. Holmeseth hasn't contributed anything to society in all the time he's been around. Yep, I have an orb. Hello, orb. I hope it's a friendly orb. Ruby, you're correct. The best thing that Field McConnell could do is probably get a public defender, but at least get a bar certified attorney that could try and cop a plea, temporary insanity, undue influence, anything to get him out of this mess that he's in. If he goes down this road of being his own attorney or following the advice of these crackpots, he's guaranteeing himself a long prison term. That's just all there is to it. Yeah, I agree, Mish. If he doesn't straighten up and get some competent legal counsel, he's doomed. Yep, Daniel, apparently I've got an orb. I don't see it on my camera. I don't know why, but I hope it's a good orb. I don't know if there's such a thing as a bad orb, but if it's a good orb, welcome orb. Well, she came back with a racist comment about that one. So, Alex, that little message went right over her head. Field must be in a race with Daniel Lee for the number of wives they've had. I'm not sure where this orb is coming from. Somebody ought to take a screenshot of it. Well, this troll over on Twitter is really getting into some racist comments. But I don't know. That's why I'm not repeating them here. I have a feeling she's in watching us because some of this stuff is real time. I mean, so she knows what's going on in the chat, so she's probably watching it. Because you don't have to log into YouTube to watch a show, only to post. Both the federal and local income taxes will be due, plus he still has all these back taxes that he has to pay off. Sharp as a tack, a screenshot of this orb I'm supposed to have. Everybody's talking about an orb. Well, that ought to rile her up. Yeah, Teslana, it's a private account. Got a sore finger now. Well, she runs the restaurant. She probably has the employees making the pizzas. I didn't see that until just now. No, Wayne Elliott is not JFK Jr. Nobody is JFK Jr. This stupidest hoax I've ever heard of. Yeah, people believe in the absolute dumbest thing. Is Ashley Cooper in the chat? I didn't see her. Hi, Ashley, if you're here. Um, I got this big wide monitor and I've been going all over the place, so I haven't been paying close enough attention to the chat. Well, that sounds like a plan. Let's see how far that goes. Well, you can believe what you want. I think it's ridiculous, but if you want to believe that Kobe's alive and JFK Jr.'s alive, then, that's fine. I choose not to believe that. I mean, it makes no sense for Kobe to be alive. What would be the purpose of staging a helicopter crash and then having him alive? I just, but I'm not gonna. That's not my focus. So believe in what you want to believe. Hi, Ashley. Welcome to my chat. Yeah, Ashley's doing a good job. She's she's a first-hand witness, which helps because it gets the information out there from someone who's actually been on the inside and understands these things intimately. So by all means, check her out. Go to her Facebook, check all her YouTubes out. She has a lot of information. Well, there's always going to be people that believe in any kind of conspiracy. Even our talk about Tim Holmes and Randy and Field and all this is conspiracy talk because if it's alleged that this Cynthia Abzug was involved in a conspiracy, so what are you going to do? A conspiracy is what it is. Well, now she says that Tom Morrissey is obsessed with Timmy. I don't think Tom Morrissey wants any more to do with Timothy, to be honest with you. But I'm not going to speak for Tom. Shane, you're correct in that. Cynthia is a victim, regardless of whether or not she's culpable for the actions with her son. She allowed herself, or somehow got sucked into this group, and they ruined her life. Cran, I have a feeling before this is over with, she's going to be both a crime victim and an informant, because she's going to have to come up with something to help mitigate the problem she got herself into. And if she turns state's evidence, that could happen. Alex, you're probably right. The woman in question is probably in love with a pedophile, but she'll never see that, of course. Yes, Melanie, and in the end, the child is the victim. No matter what the circumstances are behind all this, the child ultimately suffers for it. And yes, they definitely use Cindy. I've tried to explain this in my videos, that they took advantage of a desperate woman, made claims that weren't true, and she got sucked up in it. And she may wind up paying a price that none of these other people are going to pay. It looks now, unless these federal investigations bear fruit, that she may be the only one that pays the price for everything that happened. Yeah, I would think that she's going to have to flip, because it's the only option left open to her. She has to come up with some exculpatory evidence to get her off the hook, or at least mitigate the damages. Right now, she's in a very bad spot. She's looking at the permanent loss of her son and her daughter until they're adults, and an extended stay in prison. So she's got to come up with something to get her out of the situation, and I'm not optimistic, to be honest. Yeah, I believe you all, Alt One, or both kids are the real victims. They're victims of circumstances that they have no control over, and they are in for a long period of suffering until all this gets cleared up, regardless of what way it goes. Shane, that's going to be up to the lawyer and anything else that happens. She has to convince the court that what she is saying is true, and she has to come up with exculpatory evidence in order for her to get off the charges. If she gets off, she gets off. Oh, now we're having a name erosion. Sabrina, it is my opinion that she will not get her kids back, and will not be able to see her kids until they are adults. Now, circumstances are a little different with the teenage daughter. They seem to have a relationship, and the daughter's willing to talk to her mother. So she may have a relationship with the mother. But as far as the son, based on what's happened, I don't know what is going to be the outcome there. She's got a long road ahead of her. She doesn't have her kids around. She can't make them tranny. Shane, my jury is out on her son being trafficked. I have no proof of that. And if he is being trafficked, then hopefully the truth come out. But sitting there speculating on something with no evidence, because I've been accused of being biased for Cindy without evidence, and yet people on the other side are doing the same exact thing. And yeah, she did have marital issues, and maybe that led to part of this. Who knows? Now, why is she posting a picture of Levi? This woman is nuts. Oh, it's this troll over on Twitter. It's someone that has supported Tim Holmes for over 10 years. And she's sending screenshots of old Twitter accounts. And she also put up a picture of Levi Page. The good picture. It's not a bad picture. And I don't know why. You know, this is supposed to be someone that wants to help Tim out. And she seems to think posting all this nonsense is going to help him out. So I don't get this woman at all. Really strange. I agree, Shane. Someone needs to take a long, hard look at Sarah Dunklin. She's one of the top people in this mess. She did the most damage. And this is where Cynthia, could probably get herself out of her situation, is to turn on these people and give out in detail what went down here. I'm not judging Cynthia on the call to field. She may have gotten into a situation where she believes she was being helped. This is where mitigation comes in, because Cynthia at some point lost control of her situation. Once she got herself hooked up with these people, she was being influenced in ways. Because what reasonable person is going to believe that some old fart living in a house in the middle of nowhere is third in line to the President of the United States, and in one sweep could get her out of all her situations, and then she winds up having a gallivant all over the country. She was given false hope. She got in deeper and deeper, and now she's in a situation she is going to have to crawl out of. You know, one thing I pointed out in one of my videos is that it is alleged that there was $7,500 at a minimum that was passed around. Basically for gas and for whatever else, I don't know. I don't know why it was necessary to give this woman $7,500. But there's all this money floating around for these people to take a sightseeing tour of half the United States, where she could have stayed in the state of Colorado, got herself an expert attorney in that line of work, and probably could have worked out something to where she'd be in a better set of circumstances instead of where she is now. But she has only made her situation worse. Now, just like anybody else, Cynthia is innocent until proven guilty. So she's going to have to go through the process, and if she is deserving of any mitigation, any acquittal, it'll come out in court. But right now, she's got to hopefully listen to someone, being a lawyer, that'll give her the best advice that she could possibly have. She may not like the advice she's going to get, but she better take it. Because if she goes down this road of getting another one of these conspiracy theories representing her, she's going to be in bad shape. You want to tour the United States, become a truck driver. You'll get paid for it. I did it for 40 years. And I think I've seen that same exact tree that was in Timothy Holmes' little video that he made. Because I've been on Highway 26. It's kind of a mainline road that goes across the state. 20 and 26 crisscrosses the state. And it's kind of, and what stretches of that road, it's like you're the only person on the planet. There's nobody around. Really weird. And Oregon's not that heavily populated anyway, and most of the population lives on the coast. Because that's where all the action is. Right now it's raining out there. Like Oregon and Washington get a lot of rain. Oof. I'm not blaming him for everything that happened to Phil, but you gotta understand, Timothy Holmes is the one that introduced Field McConnell to this situation with the attorney in Florida. He filled Field McConnell with all this crap, and Field McConnell went on board with it. Field McConnell went and did what he did because of Tim Holmes. Now, if you don't want to believe that, that's fine with me. But ask yourself, why is Field McConnell sitting in jail longer than Tim Holmes has ever been in jail in his entire life? And will have been in jail longer than Tim Holmes or anybody else involved in this little circle by the time all is said and done. Because it doesn't matter if Monday Field McConnell gets acquitted. What matters is Field McConnell will have been in jail for 30 or for 90 days plus because of his association with Timothy Holmes. There's no denying it. The evidence is there. So believe what you want. Don't discuss anymore with me. Whatever you want to do. But, that's just my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. Well, I'm sorry about that, Ruby. This thing is flying by here, but it's what I'm saying as far as anybody else who believes that Field McConnell is not responsible for the situation. He certainly is. He met Timothy Holmes, and that's when all this started. So Field McConnell's problems started and is current because of Timothy Holmes. One of these days I'm going to go Lighthouse Point. I've heard that's a nice place up there. I'm sure Kim doesn't like it. She would like to see Tim locked up for a very long time. But at the same time, she put the brakes on Field McConnell before things got out of hand. And if you notice, Tim hasn't said a word about Kim since it became apparent that Phil McConnell is not getting out of jail. He's completely clammed up. And it's only for third party people like Randy and Phil that are mentioning her at all. And even they have backed off to a great extent. There's fewer and fewer people that are mentioning her, and that was her goal in the onset. One word, when it comes to Timothy Holmes' death, Enfield, you're correct. He probably would have gone on, Field would have gone on with the scams and everything, and probably would have gotten away with a lot more, because the only reason that I and a number of people got involved in this is because of these threats against Kim. So he's done damage to himself in that respect. You know, it might have taken longer for someone to bring Field down if it hadn't have been for the situation with Kim, so we can thank Kim for that much. McConnell is trying to save himself, and I don't see anything where he's trying to expose anybody. He's sitting there saying he's this all-important guy, and I don't see where he's done anything to expose anybody. All I've seen is Field being stupid. All right, where's the... You know, Dunklin, I wonder who that is. One word, there would never have been a veterans ranch. That was a scam from the get-go. And the good thing about all this is that scam got stopped in its tracks. I don't know how they're going to pick that one up. But what I've said is that at some point they're going to have to come up with another spokesperson for these organizations, because Bill McConnell is out of the loop. And once he gets to Florida and once the judicial process starts, Field is done. It's going to be a rapidly sinking ship. More and more people are going to abandon him and his causes, and somebody else is going to have to come along to take over the slack. And that might be part of what Tim Holmes is doing in Oregon. They're working out a way for Tim Holmes to become the new front man for all these scams. Or somebody else. $80,000 for Zimbots. Damn, I almost forgot to hit the button. Wow, that's a lot of money. But that's the problem. People get convinced that these weird things out there are going to make them a lot of money, and it's a get-rich-quick thing, and they get involved in it. I know a number of people that got involved in these foreign currencies, and you know, there's people that have these little seminars on them and so on, saying how we're making process, and nope. Are you God? Well, Tim Holmes might not be dead, but there's no definitive proof. We have not seen Tim Holmes on camera. We've heard a voice that sounds like Tim Holmes. We've seen someone that sounds like Tim Holmes taking pictures of a tree full of shoes in the desert. But that's all. We have not seen definitive proof of life that Tim Holmes is alive. Because things can be faked. Voices can be faked. Images can be faked. You know, I would not be convinced that Tim Holmes is alive until I met him personally and looked at him eye to eye to see if he was alive. This is the problem when you disappear without a word for 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks. You know, these conspiracies creep in. Shane, I am a victim of Timothy Charles Holmes, as was Kim. I've done a number of videos on it. I've got a couple blogs up. But basically what happened is back in the days of the Haley Cummings case, there was a forum operator known as Radio News. And Radio News was attacking Tim Holmes fiercely. And making allegations that I simply couldn't comprehend. I mean, she was really reading this guy the riot act. And she was also bullying other people. People that hated Casey Anthony because she got acquitted of the death of her daughter and other things. And radio was attacking them. And it was that group that I initially started going after radio, saying you shouldn't be bullying people, you shouldn't be doxing them. They're entitled to their opinion, leave them alone. And radio turned on me. And at some point, people started coming in and saying that Kim was the victim. And eventually, I was sent evidence, namely the 174-page injunction that Kim had filed against Tim that spelled out all of Tim's actions. And even more detail is out there than what was put in that injunction. I started doing research at that point on Tim Holmes, and I found a lot out about him. I found every single solitary court case he ever filed. I went through all the papers that were there about Kim Picazio and him that had been going on. And I started to read up on some of the theories he had. And then I understood I was wrong to defend Timothy Holmes. And I backed off. And once I backed off, Tim went after me. He started calling me a pedophile, brought out all this weird shit that had been put up on the internet about me. And, I've been fighting that ever since. Phil McConnell, I'm not a victim of him. Kim is. Phil McConnell really didn't say that much about me, so I don't have an argument with Phil McConnell other than I believe he's a fraud. And that I believe that he helped Tim out with further victimization of Kim. And that's mainly the reason I got involved with talking about Phil McConnell. And again, this is another thing. If Phil McConnell had not been involved with Timothy Charles Holmes, I wouldn't have nothing to say about him. I don't care about Phil McConnell. But now that he's tied in with this whole situation, it's a case of interest, and I'm following it. It's a legal situation. It's going to be coming to the state of Florida, and I'll be covering it for that reason. And so that's basically where we're at on that one. I said a long time ago, I said Phil and I would probably be good friends. Phil likes classic cars. I like classic cars. He's got a car that I'd love to get my hands on. Now, he's got a Chrysler Imperial convertible. It's a 1966. I love those cars. It's one of my favorite cars. It's a big car. It's comfortable. But it's, I used to be a antique car broker, classic car broker, special interest car broker. I used to broker deals between buyers and sellers, and I have sold 2 of those kinds of cars. And I've handled the big Packard that he had. And I'd love to get my hands on that car because I have buyers. I have buyers for all these cars. I could sell every single one of these cars tomorrow. So, we have an interest in cars. I have an interest in airplanes, so I'd love to talk to him about airplanes. He's a jet pilot. I love jet pilots. I talk to jet pilots all the time. I admire these guys for the skills. So we'd have something in common there. There's a lot that Phil and I would have had in common. We could have been a couple good old men buddies sitting down, having a few drinks, shooting the bull. But he destroyed all that by getting involved with Tim Holmes. And it's too bad, really. Seems like he was a nice guy at one time. Just went down the bad road. Now what? All right. So now she's into selling homemade candles. Oh, well. Well, I'd have to do it through an agent. I don't have a dealer's license to do retail selling anymore. But there are ways that I could broker the cars. I have a friend I work with because every once in a great while, a situation will come across the desk or one of my old customers, be it a buyer or a seller, wants to do a transaction and I'll intervene. Oh, geez, here we go with this stuff again. So that, I'd love to broker those cars. Well, what's probably going to wind up happening to the cars is they're going to go to a treasury auction because he owes federal income tax. And that's what I'm watching for. Who says that I'm a disinformation agent? Would that be Field? Or who else? Yeah, Alex, that's correct. He's actually got 4, from what I understand. He had 4 restraining orders out on him. He was tried for the first one. This one that he was supposed to go for is 2. And then there's 2 after that. So he's got a total of 3. Unless I'm missing something. But I thought this was the second of 4 trials that he skipped out on. James, that's correct. The cars would be sold through the IRS at a treasury auction, which is what I meant. And the buyer would buy them from the IRS. The IRS will only accept cash. And we're talking about some very expensive cars, so I'm not going to be able to buy any of the cars. I would just be there as a curious spectator to see what these cars go for and who ultimately winds up with them. And I suppose I could pass some business cards around. This is one of the reasons I'd like to get up to Plum City, is I would like to cover the sale of those cars. And I would personally like to see him because he's got some nice cars. I love his car collection. Are you reading my comment? I was saying Northwest Liberty said Ashley Cooper was. LOL. Alicia, I probably missed your comments because of the way this thing is scrolling, and I'm looking at several different things on my screen at the same time, so I apologize for that. Yeah, that's a disadvantage of these chats is when you're doing something else, sometimes you miss what's being said in the chat, and it's a disservice to the people that are chatting because if they're making a comment or asking you a question, you miss it a lot, and I have a bad habit of that. Alicia, if it is found that Field got the cars with money that was derived from criminal activities, they would be taken under the RICO statute and auctioned by the Justice Department. But I have a feeling that there'd be a fight between the FBI, the Justice Department, and the Internal Revenue Service as to who got jurisdiction over these cars. Because Field owes a lot of money for income taxes and stuff, and it's accumulating every day. Because any revenue that's coming in from the Field report or any of that stuff is subject to IRS taxes and stuff like that. So it's just these. This is a cumulative situation going on. And Teslana is sending me pornography again. And what looks like a back shot of... Nah, that can't be Nancy Grace. It's too skinny. That woman is strange. Ashley is not a disinformation agent. Just because somebody disagrees with you doesn't make her a disinfo, especially if she can back it up with proof. And this is where Northwest Liberty fails. Because instead of offering concrete counter-arguments, he goes around and says, well, she's a disinfo agent. And that's not doing... How good is the German porn? I may want it. You know, a 70-year-old guy, I could use a little excitement. The only thing I have is a picture of, well, I'm not going to get into that on a public chat, but let's just say I have a picture of a woman naked laying down on a bed looking at the camera. Nice looking lady, by the way. Sabrina, you know, the blanket accusation that everybody is corrupt is an incorrect one. You're going to have bad apples anywhere. Are there bad cops in law enforcement? Yeah, but they eventually get caught. I mean, there's people investigating them all the time. And is there problems with CPS to some extent? I would say yes. But, you know, people that just want to completely dispose of the system and start from scratch, it's not a correct option in my opinion. I believe there should be reforms in the DCF system. There should be closer looks at people that enter the field of being counselors and better ways to deal with women like Cynthia that have problems of one kind or another so things don't go as far as they did. But it's, you know, just to do a blanket accusation of everybody's not the answer. I don't know if Ashley is mean or just angry at what's happened. I mean, she is an advocate. She's seen a lot of bad things. And so she just may be mad. I haven't seen anything mean out of her in my brief communications with her and watching her material. As far as whether or not Field would join up with a gang, I don't think that's going to happen. He's too old. These gangs are usually guys in their 20s and younger. They tend to ignore people Field's age, and they may use people his age for other purposes, but, you know, he's not going to fit in. They're looking at it. They're going to look at him as an old white guy, and if his political opinions come out, that might not do him very much good. Because we're talking about a big city jail here. Fort Lauderdale is a very densely populated city. Broward County is a very densely populated county, and this is completely different than Pierce County, Wisconsin. There's more people in jail in Broward County Jail than there are in the entire county of Pierce. That's how big that jail is. Because I think the entire population of Pierce County is like just under 3,000 or something like that. It's not a very big county. I might be wrong. I haven't checked the statistics, but it's here we go again with there goes my orb. I have no idea what that is. I don't know. Oh yeah, Broward County Jail is a gang jail. There's actually more than one. There's several of them. And where he's going to go first is the one where it's like they call them reception centers. The uh, inmates go there. They get booked. I think it's called central receiving. I'd have to look it up. But he'll stay there initially. And then at some time down the road, I'm not sure when, he might get transferred to one of the other facilities, but none of them are any good. Now, what's funny is the one that he's going to wind up in initially is the newest one. They just built this thing. Not sure exactly when, but it's been in the first few years. I actually went by that institution when it was under construction. And, so it's a fairly new institution. So he's got that in his favor, but he'll be going to some other less desirable locations, and the conditions are about what I said they are. They're almost exactly the same. They're noisy. They smell because, the guys that are in these prisons are not exactly following the best hygiene habits and so on. And, people throw up or they decide they want to take a leak anywhere but in the toilet and stuff like that. And it just, he's going to be in for a pretty rough time, unfortunately. Well, Alicia, this is the delusion at its highest that, you know, he's got this direct association with President Trump. President Trump has never heard of Field McConnell. He doesn't care about Field McConnell. So, anybody that believes that Field McConnell has an association with the President of the United States is delusional. They're just not thinking straight. So, I feel sorry for people because they fall for this nonsense. But it's just the way it is. And, Phil McConnell is a storyteller. Shoes and trees in Oregon where semis park. Well, now you know why the shoes and the trees are there. The truck drivers throw out an old pair of shoes. It's a rest area. I'm looking at this thing that Tim Holmes has put up, and and this is a funny thing. I just looked at this picture a little closer. We're all talking about Timothy Holmseth can't be on the internet because they'll track his IP. And what does he do? He's got a smartphone, and he's on AT&T. So on 1:31, whatever time zone this is at, he posts these pictures. He's got 43% of his battery life on the phone. And let's see. Well, he's transmitting through Wi-Fi, apparently. I don't see any sign that he's on a carrier. Oh, yeah, he is too. He's on cell. It's throwing 3.5 bars, so he's on a cell phone. It's just not showing whether it's 3, 4, or 5G. So somebody's on AT&T. So they just got their IP tracked. So here we are, guys, all worried about getting his IP tracked, and that's why he's not on the internet. And there you are. This is stupidity in the biggest order. And I'll show you what I'm talking about here. And you talk about dumb. Okay, let me go over here. I'm just going to show you one of these screwball pictures. This is funny as hell. It's more than likely this is Randy's phone. Because, although Tim was using the phone when these pictures were made. So, let's see, is this going to save? Yeah, it's going to save. Alright. Now, let me go in here. We're going to add an image. This takes a little bit of time, so bear with me. I know people don't like it when I take so long doing this stuff. But this is live, and you do things live that take time. Over to downloads. And of course it's not there. Let me do this. Yep, there they are. Okay, it takes a second to bring this up, but what I'm doing is I'm going to enlarge the picture here first because I want to show you this. But if you notice, up here at the top left-hand corner, you have a timestamp. Next to the timestamp, you have the carrier, which in this case is A&T. Next, after that, you have an alarm icon, which means they have an alarm set on the telephone. The next symbol is your Wi-Fi signal, and you get an up arrow and a down arrow, which means that you're on Wi-Fi, and then to the right of that is your signal strength. So they're somewhere near where they're getting 3 bars of a Wi-Fi signal, and they're uploading from their phone, and they're uploading through AT&T. So that means that if somebody were looking for these two yokels, they just gave them the information needed to find them. But we already know where they are. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show the whole picture. Try to anyway. I got to resize this. But, it's funny. And it's like I mentioned before. I think I've been here. Because this is a road that truck drivers travel frequently. And I think I've been to this very rest stop. I don't know if I stopped there or not, but it just seems that I've been there. Well, I usually don't let the mustache grow because, as you notice, it's getting a little sloppy. I keep it trim because if it grows too long, I wind up eating my mustache. And it doesn't taste very good, so I am going to shave it. I'm going to be in a professional setting tomorrow, so I got to shave anyway. Now, what you're seeing, if you look real close to the Wi-Fi, let me enlarge this again. Because it's kind of hard to tell because the more you enlarge this, the less the contrast comes up. But if you count from left to right, the dark lines is your Wi-Fi signal. Then the light is the potential signal as it goes up. So the dark lines will give you an indication as to how close you are to the router to get your signal out. And your average router has a range of about 500 feet. So they are 300 feet from the Wi-Fi signal, maybe a little more, maybe a little less. I would say less than 300 feet. So they're probably in the parking lot of some business, or they're in a hotel room, or someplace where they're near a router. Now the Wi-Fi signal on my internet here in the house is 5 bars because I'm 70 feet from my router. Hangman did a video. I need to start watching more of that website or YouTube channel because that person's doing a very good job, and so forth. So yeah, I'll probably start. Yeah, Mitch, you can. I have that on my cell phone. And what I also have Wi-Fi calling. So if I have a bad cell signal, I'll have a good Wi-Fi signal. The thing of it is with AT&T, because I have AT&T, when you're on AT&T cell, it'll tell you if you're on 3, 4, or 5G. There's usually a symbol between the bars and the 43%, which will show you that. Let me, I'm going to do something real quick. I'll be right back. On the phone to people. Okay. Gotta be careful or I'm gonna have a disaster here. Get back up there. And I just had a disaster. Hold on a minute. My little backdrop I got here is kind of flimsy and the thing almost fell backwards. Alicia, you're correct that we won't know what happens with Field in Florida until he gets here. That's when you go through the process. Okay. Alright, now mine's going to show something a little different. Let me transition out of this. I just turned my phone in. Now, because of my location here in Apopka, I don't have a cell tower. And, oh, there we go. We got... let me get you out of the picture, Bubba, because you're... Oh, I hate it when that happens. I turn this phone on and all of a sudden all my messages are popping up. So I gotta let all this get out of the way. Alright. Alright, this is my phone and I'm on Wi-Fi. And you'll see that there's a constant up and down. And there's the display. Now, normally on my phone, when I'm on the cell, there'll be an AT&T thing comes up. I have 5G, and that'll come up on here. But it's not coming up because I don't have cell in the phone. But if the lighting would hold up for a minute, you'll see those little arrows over on the left. And what that is the Wi-Fi signal going up to my router. And you can't see it clearly, but I've got 5 bars because it does it a little bit differently on mine. I don't get the escalating bar on mine. I get the 5 bar like you see on the left. So, but that's generally what you get with a cell phone. Now, if I was in a different location, I could show you that over where you see the I guess you could call it searchlight bar with the up and down arrows, which is the signal between you and your Wi-Fi. The right shows you your signal strength. And then between the 43 and that bar would be the frequency you're on. It'll switch over in a minute. There's a delay. Because I thought I took that out of the picture. Come on there, Timothy. I thought I transitioned. Oh, that's my apology. I didn't transition. Okay, let's do this again. Yeah, that's sometimes I forget to do the transition on OBS here. So let me bring this up again. All right. Let me get this over. All right, there we go. Now, I'm not sure what this funny N symbol is to the left of my signal strength. That is not quite... And I'm having a hard time keeping this in focus. Damn, I'm getting a cramp. Ooh. That's weird. I usually get them in bed. But for as long as you'll see, to the right of the N is my signal strength. And then the bar to the right of the signal strength is my cell phone strength. But it's not showing what network I'm on, or not showing that I'm on a 5G, which is the account that I have set up. And we have 5G in Central Florida. But that's basically that. I don't know. I wonder who that was. I get a lot of weird calls on this thing. God damn. Oh. Maybe my orbs ought to get married. God damn. Sorry about that, folks. I'm having a hell of a cramp in my right leg. I don't know why that happened. Wow. Old age sure sucks, I'll tell you. Anybody that's not as old as I am, don't, put your life on hold. Stay whatever age you're at. Wow. I haven't had a cramp sitting down since I drove truck. I used to get cramps all the time in the truck. Be driving down the road standing up. I'd put the truck on cruise control because, boy, these things. Well, Sabrina, yeah, that is correct. That we're talking about aiding and abetting a fugitive from justice. That if the law enforcement wanted to press the issue, that's what can happen here. Is these people can be charged. The question is, are they going to do that or not? I don't know. Well, yeah, I'm going to get up for a minute. Because I think what's happening, I think it's this chair. Ooh, that was a mistake. Because that happens a lot. I don't know. Deficiency in magnesium. You could be right. Well, everybody can look at Bubba's tunes. Hey, say hi, Field. And this guy here, this Bubba Tunes, he is a very talented individual. He's also a military vet. So if you go through my old comments and see some of the things that he's put up on his website, I think you'll get a kick out of it. He sells t-shirts, all kinds of souvenirs and stuff. He has one of those Zazzle accounts, that style of thing. So, damn, that was a bad cramp, man. That just came out of nowhere. Phil doesn't look too happy. Alright, I'm going to try sitting down again. I usually walk a lot. I didn't get my walk in today because of I haven't been feeling too hot, so that probably didn't help matters. I'm going to have to... You're probably right on the magnesium. Yeah, one of the subscribers brought this for me, and I really appreciate her doing that. Just out of the blue, she said, I'm going to buy you a t-shirt, and about 2 weeks later, I get a t-shirt. And it's perfect. And it's, like I said before, I'm going to be wearing this in Fort Lauderdale during the trial. So it ought to go over well. I love ice cream. So maybe I ought to eat more of my ice cream. I'm fat enough already, but what are you going to do? Yeah, poor Phil. In a way, I feel sorry for the old goat. He got sucked in way over his head on this one. He got suckered in by a unemployed pizza delivery driver. It's really sad in a way. But people, for whatever reason, people do not use their common sense, and then when they get roped into these situations, there you are. As far as the handler singing, yeah, we're going to have a lot of canaries going on. I don't know what that is flying around. The only thing I can figure is Amber has this habit of chewing on pillows, and maybe she broke one and the things are flying around. Because every once in a while it flies around. I thought maybe it was my orb sightseeing. I have no idea what that is. Alicia, you're probably right. He was a con man, but the funny thing about it is he could probably be getting away with everything now if he hadn't got involved with Timothy Holmes. It was Timothy Holmes that brought an end to his empire. Nobody thought ahead. The people that are handling Field McConnell, it hasn't dawned on them yet that everything was going fine. They were having a time of their lives. They were going to all these functions in the United Kingdom and down in Texas and wherever. And Tim Holseth destroyed all that. And, someday they're going to realize it. And they're going to say, hey, we let this guy in here and he ruined it for us. And they're not going to be able to recover. They're going to have to go out and find somebody else now. Because there's the two allies for Field that said, screw this, we're getting out of this mess. And so it fell apart. And Kirk Pendergrass and Chris Hallett, they bugged out. They somehow managed to keep control of the channel, so they do their law thing on there. And I haven't seen much going on from Dr. Good Vibes and anybody else over there. There probably is stuff going on, but I don't see much of it. The only thing we got going on is Field McConnell making his little calls on a daily basis from jail. So I agree, Adorable. Field talked a big game for a long time, was facing no consequences, but he got hooked up with Tim Holmes, went along with Tim's propaganda about Kim, and here we are. Well, fake reality, you're right. She did everything wrong. She never should have left the state of Colorado. She should have fought. I don't know how she thought bouncing around the country with complete strangers was going to solve her problem. But she got desperate. And because of her desperation, she went ahead and got involved in this stuff. And this is the price you pay for stupidity. She believed all these people. And I think Northwest Liberty News probably encouraged her to talk to Field before he realized that he had made a big mistake. Because he almost is like he condones this stuff. He actually sent a reporter down there to cover her on the condition that they weren't going to tell where she was. That they were going to treat her like a political prisoner or another Snowden or something. And they were going to aid and abet by not disclosing her whereabouts. They were going to do this big interview, and he was going to put it on his show. And the reporter, for whatever reason, went down a different road. And now he's revoked her credentials, he's mad at her, and all this other stuff. But the fact of the matter is that he didn't help the woman's situation at all. He went along with her being on the road in this situation. And this is just another example of how people get involved in things they know nothing about, and they're not an expert on anything. And she wound up getting screwed. If Liberty News realizes he's fucked up, I haven't heard about it. Sorry about the language. Because I haven't heard anything out of him where he's admitted he has taken any responsibility for this. He's still saying that everybody in Douglas County is a crook and CPS has got to be eliminated and all this other nonsense. When he doesn't know the full story. Everybody's going on the woman's side of the story here. Yeah, there we go again. Maybe my orb just took off. Actually, I think that's what it is. I think it's an old pillow that the dog got into, and every once in a while it lets a feather go flying around or something. I don't know. I live in a haunted house, I guess. Yeah, this is a 30-year-old mobile home. It's not exactly a high income area I live in down here. Trailer trash, you could say. And what basically happened is Kim would not have to rearrest Tim Holmes said, because he had 4 charges pending against him. And on each and every charge, he would be rearrested and put in jail. So that's automatic. And then after the 4th time, if he continued to violate the injunction, it may have turned into a felony. Now, I remember seeing some paperwork from the prosecutor that said that if you don't take a plea deal and you keep this stuff up, this could turn into a felony. And I think that's one of the reasons he went on the lam, because he knew he was in very serious trouble. Janice, Munchausen by proxy, what happens is if they don't have a child, they'll figure something out in their social network. It could be a sibling, could be a parent, could be a close friend, it could be somebody. Now this, if I recollect, she was in the health field, so she's a nurse. There's stories of women that have Munchausen's that would get their patients sick and then they'd save their lives. And what happened is once they removed the patients from this woman's care, everybody miraculously got well and stayed that way. So it's not a child-specific condition and it's not a family-specific condition. People with Munchausen's find an excuse to get attention. And there's 2 different kinds of Munchausen's. Either you are the sick person, which means you have Munchausen's, or you make somebody else sick. And this is where the Munchausen by proxy comes in. Because you're looking for a way to draw attention to yourself in a positive note. And this is what she was alleged to have been doing. Yeah, I remember sharp as a tack that this came out in one of my Murtathons, is that Tim was supposed to be on assignment. And whatever this assignment is, I guess it has to do with going to the state of Oregon to meet this guy that's JFK Jr. or whatever it is. That's weird. I think I know it's another feather. From what I understand, the reason Cindy was running is because she was told that she would probably be arrested. It's my understanding that someone was going to press charges against Cindy for Munchausen by proxy, or that is what she was led to believe. And everybody thought it was in her best interest for her to get out of the state of Colorado. And that apparently is what started this whole business. Now, I have to admit that I have not looked into this case in great detail to determine exactly what the facts are, but that is my understanding at this point. Mish, that's true, but what we don't know is how far along they had gone with this prognosis of Munchausen. Has she been going to sessions and so forth to determine exactly what's going on, or did she just run away? See, this is where you run into a problem. Number one, we're talking about medical information on someone, which falls under the HIPAA statute, because you're dealing with medical information that's normally private. So any proceeding would have been private and confidential. I don't know how all this information about her being suspected of Munchausen's got out there, but it's been admitted to by everybody that's helping her out that is what had happened. So if we base on the assumption to say that maybe she's been through examinations and sessions where the psychiatrist or psychology psychologist said, look, this woman is likely to have Munchausen's by proxy. This is what I recommend. And at some point, they decided that she had to have these charges lodged against her. So that's what we don't know at this point. And this is probably one of the reasons that this case has been sealed by the state of Colorado, because of all this private information that has to do both with her medically and with her minor child. The child's name should never have been put on the internet. And as a matter of fact, the daughter's name shouldn't have been put on the internet because she's a minor. She's under 18. And I don't know where the liability falls in something like that. But Field McConnell put the name of the minor child up there along with his medical information back in September. And, that's not a smart thing to do, because that's, that just puts the child in a very difficult situation. And it's also putting the courts in a difficult situation, because now all this stuff is out in public and they're going to have to deal with it. Yeah, you're quite correct, Alexandra. It was sealed because of the male child. These things are closed. Now, what's funny is I remember when this so-called witness came on, and it shows you what little that the commentator of Northwest Liberty Views knows about how courts work. The guy is sitting there as a spectator in court. Nobody knows who this guy is. They come up and say, who are you? I said, I'm just a citizen. I'm here watching all this. And the lawyer comes in. He was late. Lawyers are not known to be punctual a lot of times. I mean, during the Casey Anthony case, lawyers were late just about every day. But that's beside the point. So this guy made a big deal of the fact that this lawyer came in and one of the staff took a piece of paper up to the judge. Now, this is what's known as a sidebar for anybody that follows court cases. Anytime you go before a judge and you have a little conference between the defense and the prosecution, that's known as a sidebar. People in court normally aren't supposed to hear these things. And what the one lawyer said is, this involves a child. This involves medical issues. I want this case closed to the public. I want any spectators cleared from the court. This is normal. The judge may not do a lot of these kind of cases. So they just reminded the judge this is the way it goes. The judge took a look at it and said, okay, everybody out. Only the parties to the case can remain. So everybody had to leave. So this guy made a big thing about absolutely nothing. It's something that he should have known about and something that Northwest Liberty News should have known about. That any case that involves medical issues, involves children, involves the names of Jane Does and say rape cases or John Does, in any case where the confidential information in court may put the person in some kind of risk, this information is left out of the proceedings and it's closed. End of story. There shouldn't have been no reason to waste 20 minutes of a show arguing nonsense. But this is what happened. But any case involving a minor child, regardless of what it is, it gets sealed. And the only time it doesn't, if a child commits a crime and they're being tried as an adult, then there's a possibility that some issues that would normally be private would be released. I just didn't think you wanted to hear my coughing again. Atlas, I hear that all the time. Sovereign citizens are troublemakers. That's about the one thing you can say about them. They don't... God, my orb is taking flight. I don't know what to think about it. I just don't believe in the sovereign citizen nonsense. Well, sharpen attack. Timothy Holmes has called me a gaslighter. gang stalker. That's what Tim Holmes, everybody that disagrees with you is going to come up with this stuff. They're going to say you're gang stalking and stuff like that. And all we're doing is we're having a chat on a biased channel. If they don't like what I say or do on this channel, they don't need to come here. They came here of their own free will. I can't even see stuff that Tim Holmes puts up. He blocks me from his Facebook channel. I have a friend that goes over there from time to time. The sovereign citizens are violent people, or some of them are, and that's the reason that they were labeled as a domestic terrorist. Okay, I gotta do something. So I haven't been diminished. Okay, what I'm going to do, Alex, I'm going to send you that picture you asked about. I just read your message. I got to do this in a kind of a complicated process. Okay. This is nothing like the movie, I'll tell you. It's just a broken down old hotel in the middle of guess it's a desert. It's kind of a bleak area. A lot of rattlesnakes up there. Okay. And okay, well, I don't know. I guess Timmy's easy to please. I'd almost have to swear I have been to that. I've been by that hotel. That's good. I'm just gonna. It's a little dark. I'm gonna have to put this through my processor, but I'm gonna send it to you. I tell you that Yeah, I should be drinking a lot more water too. Yeah, I think you're right. Mile marker 206 sounds about right. I'm gonna go to do something here. I'm gonna find this darn. Damn, what a dump. I did is I googled Bates Motel, and what it is they must have stayed in this thing, and it's showing that sign that's in the picture and the mobile home that's in the background. And funny how things don't change, because the photo has the mobile home in the background that she took or Tim took, and it's in this picture. And this picture was taken 2 years ago. Same exact mobile home. Or it's a travel trailer, actually. Can't read it. There's one of those little signs that you change the letters on. There's. God, what a dump. And that. What's not showing up clear in the picture that Tim took is an arrow that points. The tip of the top of the arrow where the feathers would be is under the L of the motel, and it points to the sign. It points to the post. So I think the hotel is to the left of this sign. And apparently where this hotel is at is close to the junction of 20 and 26. And let me get the map. Yeah, this is a typical 2-lane highway that you see. Has these old trees. Wow, what a rundown area. They got all these old mobile homes around there. Mountains in the background. It's probably that mountain over there is probably where he took that picture. Because let's see, is there a mountain? Nope, it's back that way. So I bet you, if I go down this way, I like playing with Google Maps. You find a lot of information on here. Central Oregon something or other. Oh, Central Oregon Highway is what they call this. And it's going to take me forever to go down this road. But they've got a Sinclair gas station, which I haven't seen in years. Yeah, I'm on US 20 again. Because I have a feeling that they were on the other side of this mountain range when they took the picture, and it's going to take me forever to get over there. But they went straight through this little town, whatever this town is. Oops. How'd I get on Water Street? I messed up here. It's gonna... No, I need it. No, darn it. I screwed up. Oh. Alright, where's the mountain? I lost the mountain. Oh, there's the mountain. Ooh, 25 miles an hour, man. I wouldn't want to be careful going through that town. Oh, somehow I got on 26. Made a left turn, wrong turn. Gotta go back. Huh. That's interesting. Yeah, I remember that, Ian, where they said that they would do that. And that's one of the things that got him in trouble, because that's a death threat. It's just... Yeah, that could be taken both ways, I suppose, because, it's... But if they're not posing a threat and you just walk up and shoot somebody, that's not a good thing. And I'm going to go down this road for now. Oh, wait a minute. Where did I see that sign? And let me go back here. It's a nice thing about doing a virtual map. You're not having to turn. Oh, I see. 26 and 20 are on the same road. Huh. That's interesting. Because I've been on 20. I don't think I've been on 26. Okay. For those that don't know what I'm doing, I'm using Google Earth, Google Maps to backtrack. I want to see if I can find where they took that picture. Now, mile marker 206 would be closer to this side of the west side of the state, because that's where the Bates Hotel is. It's on the west side of the state. Oops. All right, now we're getting closer to... Why do I remember this country? Because what they do, I don't think on Google Maps they're going to show you pullovers. Because this isn't a regular exit like you'd see on a interstate highway. It's just a pullover. And there's no mile markers. Of course, I don't recall seeing any. Oh, that's weird. Got a little stone marker in the middle. Of course, they used to use stone markers back in the Western days, so that they use them as property markers. Okay, missed a sign here. I'm speeding. And someone's got a nice little escape. Oh, way station. Oh, I remember this. Stupid ass way station. I think it's on only one side of the road. They check, you gotta have these little, when you enter the state of Oregon, you gotta have like a little thing. There's a road that goes nowhere. Yeah, they might have been close to the way station. Boy, it's been years since I've been on this road. Funny how nothing changes. Alright, this is mile marker 248. Yeek. So I got a ways to... I want to see... Because usually mile markers go from west, or from east to west. They go... You start out at 0 on the east side of a state, and you go up. So I'd have to find another mile marker. Somebody's probably going to bitch at me for doing this. So I'll try to look. Well, I really hadn't intended on getting that deep with Northwest Liberty, but since they're tied up with the Zabsong thing, I had to cover it to some degree. And the information that he's putting out there is extremely bad. I mean, he's not doing this. You know, they say I'm bad at not giving out information. He's not doing any better. Come on, give me a 1/4 mile. And it takes almost to the way station. Yeah, I remember this way station. Oh, boy. It's hardly ever open. Boy, at this rate, it's going to take me forever to get a... Well, wait, this doesn't exactly go in a... What the hell's happened here? I don't remember 20 taking all these zigzags. Alright, I know a different way of doing this. I just... Oh, I was wrong. Huh. Because if the base hotel is there and it's 200 and almost 300 miles, then the mile markers go east instead of west. It's interesting. Now to get that Bend, Oregon, they would take 26 to 97, it looks like. Heh, there's a Printyville in Oregon. That's a trip. And here's Mitchell. Now the tree that was on 26, Little Pine Truck Stop. But Mitchellville is where this tree is supposed to be at. So I bet you, if we go in, maybe I don't know if it's important enough of a landmark. But just so you know, Alex, this tree, according to the research I've done, is somewhere near Mitchellville, Oregon, which is on Highway 26. So they apparently were on Highway 26. And so if you follow the highway using satellite view, the pullout that they went in, which is this one here, and the whatchamacallit doesn't go down far enough. They didn't take street view of this part of the highway Good going there, Google. Sorry about that, folks. I didn't hit the button. But it looks like it was just outside of Mitchellville someplace, because there's a pullout for trucks, and then that one area. So it's in this general area anyway. It's just out in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, it's kind of stupid, but that's Timothy. But for whatever reason, people decided they wanted to fill these 2 trees full of shoes. And it's also like a little town dump, or if somebody has garbage, they throw it out. And that tent that they had in the picture is probably some homeless guy, camped out in the desert, which I see a lot, or saw a lot. People that just camp out in the middle of the desert. So, let me get back over here. Sorry about that. Well, the authorities in a lot of cases are not taking this stuff seriously, which is a big problem. The phone call I listened to, where she called the FBI agent, or I guess it was somebody in the Pentagon. The guy said, well, you got to call this agency, that agency, and she was frustrated because she couldn't get anybody to listen. And I found this to be the case with a lot of people, is they keep wanting you to go to your local law enforcement. They want you to go to the FBI. They want you to go here, there. Nobody wants to take any responsibility. So this is going to continue until they do. You try to explain to people in the outside world about what goes on these social media sites, and they look at you like you're nuts. So it's just hard to explain to anybody this stuff. They think you're making this stuff up when it's these other people that are making things up. But everything sorry about that. But everything Timothy Holmes claims is creepy and sinister and everything else. It's just, the guy's just something. The guy's Looney Tunes. But I am getting one of these days I'm going to try ultra low latency and see if this cuts my problem down, because it's on normal latency in the settings on this thing, and it's weird to watch yourself 10 seconds ago. I have to use my studio monitor, so I don't do that. But it doesn't give me a real-time response, and that's what I don't like. Everybody wave at Teslana. She's in here watching. She's just got on my ass about playing around on Google Maps, which, I don't know, I guess trying to figure out where a tree is in Oregon is stalking. You know, for someone that believes that Tim is a spokesman for the federal government, I guess that's the kind of logic you're going to get out of something like that. Yeah, she's mad again. Well, Tess, I know you're in here, so, you know, all this screwy stuff you're putting over on Twitter is not helping Tim out. You know, you're just making Tim's situation worse, so I hope you're happy. Have I seen the briefing about child trafficking? No, I have not. But, you know, Tim Holmes has nothing to do with it. Well, just call her Teslana because she doesn't want to be known as Astro. She's too ashamed of herself. So I've been using her Twitter name, which is Teslana. It's a private account. You won't be able to do anything with her for some weird reason. She's got me unlocked. She blocks me and then she unblocks me. Strange woman. She was supposed to have gone dark. She said she's going dark tonight. Well, she's not dark. And so, yeah, I'm yucking it up with my new friends. You know, I'm not running around the country with some batshit old lady allegedly getting oral sex. So, I know you're jealous. You know, it could have been you. But you let Tim run away with that woman. So, it's you that's got to put up with it. I agree with you, Alicia. He's very horrendous. He has no conscience, doesn't care. I will watch the briefing. Boy Wonder claims he is going to be on YouTube in March. I will be closely monitoring him. Well, you go ahead and do that. He could use, you know, he can use the viewership. He's got nothing to hide. Jeez. She's a stalking Levi. Then she accuses me of stalking. Woman is something else. Oh, that's exactly what it is, Alex. He's jealous to the extreme. Yeah, there's probably been some intimate relationship going on there, and she came across it, and she doesn't like it. Because they're close to the same age. I don't know if Randy is older or younger than Tim, but they're physically compatible, I guess. So, and here they are, alone, traveling across the country, staying in hotels, alone, in the same bedroom. So I imagine there's some happy times going on there. We may have a little Timmy running around here before long if her biological clock hasn't run out. Then we could call him Tiny Tim. Tim Hat and Tiny Tim. So what you think, Tess? You going to be the godmother to the new child that Tim might have with Randy? That ought to be interesting. Sit there and sing lullabies to the new baby. Yeah, I agree there, Alex. It's just, I'll tell you, that hotel didn't look too appetizing. I stayed in some bad hotels, so that one takes the cake. Yeesh. Well, she's different, James. I'll say that much for her. You know, some of the stuff she puts up on her Facebook, it's laughable. Well, you know, 6 years difference. Nothing wrong with that. You know, as long as the equipment's compatible. You know, Timmy likes cougars. Wow. Well, Levi, I for one think they are. I mean, you got two people traveling alone across the country, close together. You know, they're saving money, so they're going to stay in the same hotel room. You know, humans being what humans are, why not take advantage of the situation, you know? You know, because he's probably not getting her needs fulfilled by her husband or whatever he is. Yep, I agree with you there, James. I mean, a janitor gets fired from his job, allegedly because he didn't take a bath. That's pretty bad. It takes a lot to get fired as a janitor. Yeah, Alicia, I know she's watching because she says things that she would only have known if she had tuned into this channel. Uh, I was talking about when I was doing a Google search on Google Maps for that area where they took pictures of the tree, and she responded almost immediately on Twitter. So she's in here watching all this. Yeah, it's pretty obvious. She does watch my Merc chats. So. She's that old? I thought she was a little bit younger than that. I figured her was about 60 years old. Unless I'm reading something else here. Are you talking about Tim or somebody else? Golden, that's a possibility. I mean, there's human trafficking going on all over the place. And the problem with people like Tim Holmes and Phil McConnell is they're distorting it and they're taking the attention away from the true traffickers and coming up with all this fiction. This is what Tim Holmes does. He finds a basis of truth and then he adds his own fiction to it. He did it with the Waterling case. He's done it with the Cummings case. He does it to everything. He'll find a core truth, basic facts about something, and then he completely fictionalizes it, and he ruins any chance of getting to the truth about anything. So I don't know what the solution is to this problem of trafficking, human trafficking, child trafficking. It's been going on since the beginning of time. We're supposed to be in a civilized society, and yet this stuff is going on. So I don't know what the answer is. But it's not Tim Holmseth or Field McConnell that's going to provide the answers. They're just going to make matters worse. Yeah, I agree, Alex. He does. He has his own perversions to all his stories, and he wrecks everything. He's making the social media look ridiculous with what he's doing. And these other people like Randy and Field and all them are just adding to the mess. Well, there's going to be someone out there, Alex, that believes in anything. It's just the nature. It's human nature. They're going to find somebody that agrees with them, and they're going to just believe in them. There's no common sense. It just happens. You know, and with Chad Cater and Tom Morrissey both, they tried to help him out and tried to get him to see the sense of things. And Randy stepped in, filled Tim with all kinds of nonsense, and Tim turned his back on two of his closest friends and about two of the only people that he could actually trust. And so now he's basically a puppet under control by masters, and he's in a situation he'll probably never get out of. At least not voluntarily. All right, folks, we've hit the 3-hour mark. Excuse me. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and take a nap. I got a busy day tomorrow. I will do another mobile video to put up. I'll figure out what I'm going to talk about tomorrow. Probably general stuff again. And anybody, if you have information about anything, just pass it on and I'll blab away about it. I appreciate you guys tuning in. If possible, try to get the subscriber count up. Because like I said, if I can get up to 1,000, I can start doing a lot of on-location mobile tweets through the cell phone rather than having to run around and find Wi-Fi. This is going to be important when I go to Fort Lauderdale. Because at least I'll be able to go to Fort Lauderdale if I'm not able to get the resources as far as I'm going to be able to go on mobile. If things work out the way I hope they do, then I can go up to Pierce County, go over to Polk County, some of these other places, and go at it that way. I'll give the baking soda and water a try. And I appreciate all of you. And hopefully someday we can find things more pleasant to talk about. And so with that, this is William K. Murtaugh, Mert Witness 1. Have a good one.